Hello, everyone. It's Phil Lee returning with another episode of Civil War Chat. Today is Thursday, the 3rd of February, 2022. Click on the subscribe button here in the lower right to subscribe, and also the notification bell in the far upper right to be notified when future episodes are released. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers now, so we've been making progress, and you can push us over the 1,000 mark by joining and subscribing. So let me welcome you to that. And now what I'd like to do is to bring up my notes and talk about my topic today, which is to end sex-based affirmative action too. Now, my article earlier this week that urged an end to affirmative action focused on race preferences. But to be fair, gender preferences should also be abolished. Contrary to popular belief, American society does not discriminate against women. Consider the latest sex scandal involving former CNN President Jeff Zucker and his paramour, Allison Gollust. Although both admit that their relationship has been consensual, only Zucker lost his job. At this writing, Gollust is still employed as a vice president at CNN worldwide. Yet former news anchor Katie Couric and Today Show host Katie Couric, who worked with Zucker at NBC, suggests that Gollust may have leveraged her romantic relationship with Zucker to advance her career. That's no surprise, right? Couric reports that Zucker made a huge push to put Gollust on the Today Show, even though there was really no spot for her. According to Couric, quote, "I had to wonder why Jeff was angling so hard to bring Allison on board at the Today Show," close quote. Consequently, Couric resisted the initiative and speculates that her snub of Gollust later caused her to be denied a lucrative job offer at cable news network after Zucker took over. Instead, when Zucker took the reins at CNN, his first hire was Gollust. Now, although feminists who complain of gender power imbalance get the sympathy, the casting couch has long been a tool available to attractive women to advance their careers. Moreover, when they enter into such a relationship, they can pack a Me Too accusation as a golden parachute to get out anytime they want. If the affair becomes public, it's the male's career that ends ignominiously, and the lady gets a multi-million-dollar settlement. As Godfather Don Corleone put it, men cannot make mistakes. Women and children can make mistakes, but not men, close quote. Despite feminist rhetoric to the contrary, the public is easier toward women and more demanding of men. After Gretchen Carlson accused Fox News' CEO, Roger Ailes, of sexual harassment, the former Miss America won a $20 million settlement. Since she was 26 years younger than Ailes, she might have stopped his ill-mannered behavior with a slap in the face. Perhaps she instead realized that yielding to his sexual advance could make her a multimillionaire. Maybe she knew that if he did not give her a lucrative job, she could disclose his misconduct and win an easy multi-million-dollar settlement. After Ailes resigned, the public judged him guilty, and a group of 20 other previously silent women piled on. He died less than a year after resigning from Fox. Now, a year after Carlson got her $20 million, Fox News legal analyst Liz Weil settled a $32 million claim against Bill O'Reilly, who hosted one of the network's most popular shows. O'Reilly had to pay Weil's settlement himself. If Carlson and Weil were harassment victims, they were well compensated in the form of settlements and years of lucrative jobs that were unavailable to young men who could not sleep their way up the corporate ladder at Fox. That option was only available to women. Although academic feminists insist that quotas and gender preference programs are necessary remedies to correct for so-called traditional female victimhood, girls have never been a small fraction of college students during the past 60 years. In 1960, they represented 46% of incoming freshmen. They became a distinct majority in 1975 and have remained a majority ever since. In 1980, they were 54% of freshmen, 57% in the year 2000, and presently in 2022, 60%. In 2020, colleges enrolled 1.5 million fewer students than in 2015. And 70% of the drop was among males. Nonetheless, due to entrenched feminist influence, Americans shrugged their shoulders at the long-term decline of males as a fraction of college graduates. Schools don't want to provide affirmative action for white males because they are perceived as privileged. The chief reason my posts and my stories have diverged from the Civil War topics this week is that race and gender-based affirmative action is part of a progressive agenda that has demonized American traditions, particularly Southern traditions, and especially those involving the Confederacy. Although only a minority of women identify with today's radical feminists, women still represent more than half of America's voters. Part of the, quote, woke agenda is to unite them with the 13% of Americans who are Black and other ethnic minorities into a political coalition that seeks to fundamentally transform America into a country ruled tyrannically by a cultural elite from Washington. Indeed, today's Democrat Party is mostly a coalition of female and ethnic minorities. Note how they demonize traditional workers, such as the Canadian truckers, who merely want to get our two countries back to normal in terms of basic supply chain necessities. The truckers are not the ones demanding special favors, such as student loan forgiveness. That is a cause of the cultural elite. For those wanting to preserve Confederate memorials, it will be necessary to oppose those who would destroy America's traditional values and substitute propaganda for history. Anyone who believes that Confederate statues were erected to celebrate slavery is already deluded by such propaganda. The all-white legislatures for 9 of the 11 Confederate states ratified the 13th Amendment, abolishing slavery less than 10 months after Appomattox. The other 2 outlawed it in their state constitutions. These governments were not carpetbag governments. They were mostly composed of former Confederates. Okay. So I think I talked about this book before, but I want to emphasize Causes of the Civil War is now available in audio format. So you don't have to read the book. You can have somebody read it to you while you're driving, while you're exercising, or just walking around. Causes of the Civil War by Philip Lee is now available in audio format. This book gives you an honest analysis of how the war came to be and what the causes of it were. Almost every other book you're going to get is going to blame the war on the South and demonize the Confederacy. This book gives you an objective, 2-sided evaluation. And so I want to encourage you to get it if it's something that would interest you. Now, what you can do is go to Amazon.com. And if you like my books, please give them a 5-star rating. As I've said before, I don't have a university press behind me. If we want to get this kind of message out, objective truth about the Civil War and Reconstruction, it's going to be up to us to do it. So if you go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble and give me 5-star ratings on the books that you like, that'll really help us out. And again, We're close to 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube now. So if you want to subscribe, that would also help us out. All right, that's our show for today, and thanks for watching.